Good. Hello, welcome to our presentation today. My name is Joe Asplund. I'm joined here by my colleague Colette Abodea.
Hello, everyone.
We're pleased to welcome you to our demonstration here of our latest product and trainer, Casualty Care Rescue Randy. There will be 4 parts to this demonstration in the video. And want to just kind of go over the parts for you very quickly. It should last roughly 20 to 25 minutes. There'll be a background, a little setup, instructions, information on setup. The types of training that we're going to be doing with Casualty Care Rescue Randy would be involved emergency cricothyrotomy training, tension pneumothorax and sucking chest wound, as well as massive bleeding, wound packing, and tourniquet applications. After that, we'll go a little bit over the cleaning and the care, and that should wrap up today's presentation. So a little bit of background, why this mannequin, why this trainer, Casualty Care Rescue Randy. It was developed for training of the tactical combat casualty care curriculum that was developed by the military here and implemented by the Department of Defense last year, so that every single person in the military, any service member, basically is mandated to have this training, at least the basic training throughout their service. This also can correspond with the basic tactical emergency casualty care curriculum, which is for more civilian applications, would be first responders, EMTs, firefighters, law enforcement officers. The training focus of Casualty Care Rescue Randy is to treat the 3 leading causes of death on the battlefield, and these are massive bleeding, hemorrhaging, airway obstruction, and a tension pneumothorax. So, Casualty Care Randy consists of 2 suits, an inner and an outer suit, that are dressed on to a modified Rescue Randy mannequin. So the Casualty Care Rescue Randy is based on a Rescue Randy body. It makes this trainer very rugged and durable. Also, there are no electronics within the mannequin or the trainer. It means there's nothing internal, nothing costly to break. CCRR, as we like to call it, Casualty Care Rescue Randy, can be used out in the infield for real-world training scenarios. We would like you to use it that way in real-world scenarios, and that's what it's designed for. Very rugged and durable trainer. So a little bit about the setup. When the customer receives the mannequin, the trainer, the suits will not be on the mannequin. We want the customer to know how to properly place the suit on the Rescue Randy body, making sure that it's very tight. Obviously, making sure that all the internal hoses are connected to the wounds properly. And the hoses are not kinked, so that the simulated blood can flow freely to your desired wounds. With that, speaking of your blood, as far as the blood mixture, the Casualty Care Rescue Randy comes with 5 gallons worth of blood mix. It is very, very important to mix the blood in a separate container, and making sure it's mixed thoroughly with no clogs or clumps. Very smooth liquid mixture of simulated blood before you put it into the pump here. And moving over, this is the manual foot pump that comes with the Rescue Randy, the Casualty Care Rescue Randy. I'm just going to open it up here to kind of show you a little bit of it. When you do receive the pump, the connecting hoses store in the top of this pump here. On the other latch, there is a reservoir where you will put your water or your simulated blood. With these connecting lines, they attach to color-coded lines that are already within the internal suit, meeting up with the lines on the external suit to go to the specific wounds. These lines are color-coded to tell you which wounds they're going to. So for example, the red will go to your neck bleed, your subclavian artery bleed, Your yellow will go to your brachial bleed. Your green tubing goes to your inguinal or abdominal bleed, and your blue line goes to the femoral bleed. Now, if you can see here, each of these connecting tubes or hoses have a valve, but each valve can be turned on and off, controlling the flow for each line. Really, first off, you want to just make sure that there's no blocks in your lines, just by blowing a quick puff of air through your lines to make sure that there's nothing blocking them and that air is coming out. Okay, so just for setup of the pump, you want to pick which wounds you want to bleed. So for the demonstration here today, we're going to bleed the green, yellow, and blue. The manual pump allows for 3 wounds to be bled simultaneously. There is an upgradable battery-operated backpack pump that does allow for all 4 of the wounds to bleed simultaneously. What it'll do, basically, you just plug these in, and they lock in place when they're connected correctly into the pump. I'm at this time going to make sure all 3 of these valves are on, so we're going to bleed all 3 wounds simultaneously. Now I have the green, the yellow, and the blue, so which would mean I have the brachial, the inguinal, and the femoral wounds, femoral artery wounds that we are going to be bleeding today. And they really just connect just like so. Get a good look at that. Got it? Okay. Now for this demonstration, I have filled it up with our simulated blood. Lock it back up. This transfer ball has got a handle on it. You carry it around. You should be good to go with that. Now to start with the training, and a little bit about the different aspects of the training here. We'll just start with the head. The Casualty Care Rescue Randy has the holes in the nose and the mouth for OPA and NPA placement. There's no airway per se on the mannequin. These holes are just to train for the placement of the OPA and NPA devices. So as you see, you have your nasopharyngeal, which will go into the left nostril, and your oropharyngeal will go into the oral airway. Now for the emergency training scenarios, if this facial wound here has made using the OPA or the NPA impossible to create an airway, it would now call for moving down to the neck for a cricothyrotomy. A little background on that, the CCRR, or Casualty Care Rescue Randy, comes with 3 repairable neck skins and 10 repairable tracheas for the emergency crate training. There is also a repair kit that comes with the mannequin as well, the product, in a more tan color and clear for the trachea. I would say that with good repair, the tracheas can probably be repaired roughly 10 to 20 times, used over again, repair it, let it dry, move on to the other one, etc. The neck skin can be rotated around the neck a bit. So this would, most likely you could probably repair this around 20 to 30 times. Obviously depending on how well the repairs are done. So this does give you the ability to train fairly accurately the emergency type procedure. Moving down on the mannequin, we do have a mock chest wound. This would simulate a gunshot wound, stabbing. This does show placement of the chest seal. what happens here in the scenarios with this sometimes will lead to a tension pneumothorax, which gives us our second bit of training for needle decompression. So Casualty Care Rescue Randy allows for needle decompression to be done at the 4th and 5th intercostal space on the anterior axillary line on the side of the mannequin, and at the 2nd and 3rd intercostal space at the mid-clavicular line on the front of the mannequin. What makes Casualty Care Rescue Randy unique is that there are no visible target points for the needle decompression on the mannequin. This means that the student must learn to palpate for the correct area to successfully perform the needle decompression. Just demonstrate quickly. Between the 2nd and 3rd spaces. Here we go. And release the needle. There's no air sounds. There's no actual air decompression within the chest. This is to show the proper placement of the needle for the needle D. 5th. So, have it. So this will train for treatment of a tension pneumothorax. Moving on to the 3rd leading cause of death on the battlefield, which would be your massive bleeding and hemorrhaging. This trains for tourniquet application, pressure application, as well as wound packing. A really great feature of this mannequin and this trainer, as far as the applications go, is the ability to do proper tourniquet application. You can't really do it on a person very well. The correct way is you'll really hurt somebody. So with the way that the suit is set up, it does give you a way to do proper placement of the tourniquet, as well as the correct pressure that you need to have, and really turning that down to get the wounds, to get the bleeding to stop. So the trainer has 4 different bleeding sites. And they can all be pressure applied. Tourniquet application can be done, as well as wound packing. Also, when you stick your finger in these wounds, you will feel an actual vessel. This mimics a severed artery in these specific areas, so it does give a very realistic feel. But these wounds would be your subclavian, your neck wound, your brachial artery, your arm wound, inguinal, abdominal wound, and your femoral, your leg. Your brachial and your femoral bleeding sites can be used with a standard fat tourniquet or a standard type tourniquet to stop the bleeding at the vessel, or above the vessel, I should say. Now the subclavian and inguinal wounds, we do need a specialized, larger SAM tourniquet, which we have here, to tourniquet these wounds. Otherwise, you can obviously wound pack them. The wounds allow for realistic bleeding for the trainees, and this helps teach the correct procedure for wound packing and tourniquet application. And just like a human, if the procedures are done correctly, the bleeding will stop at the sites, and even though the pressure is still flowing. So at this time, I'd like to demonstrate some of the bleeding and tourniquet application. So if I could ask Colette to come here. And
before we do that, can you explain the difference between the 2 pumps? There's the manual and the exterior pump, the other one. There's 2 pumps. It's optional other pump, the electronic one.
Yeah. Did you pause it?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So the manual pump comes with the system and with the mannequin. There is an option for an upgradable. It's a battery operated, like a Milwaukee Tools lithium rechargeable battery system that slides right in into this pump system, into a backpack that you can actually put over Randy, or have a person wear. But then that holds the blood inside the backpack as well with the Camelback system. And that also has an automatic key fob system to turn it on and off. So
It's optional, right?
It's optional. It's an upgrade, yeah.
Okay.
But that will make all 4 of the wounds bleed simultaneously.
This is what, okay.
Yep. And
Is what good about it? Way we had like 4 sided bleed in the same time.
right, and with that system too comes a couple additional wounds. So if you'd like, you could have 2 patients. It's got another arm wound you could actually put on a person. It's got a guard on it,
okay.
So you can't hurt them, but so you could actually do some wound packing and things like that. So just contact your rep or contact us here, and we can help you out with working if you'd like to upgrade a system.
Appreciate that explaining to us. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
And here, let me get you over here. So we're gonna do a little demonstration on the bleeding here, and we'll see if we can get your office all bloody. Now I filled that up, so you just go ahead and start pushing the pump there, Colette, because it's going to take a second to get that blood to come through. So you got to really start hitting it.
I think you'll start soon.
Yeah, and we've got some water because I had water in there earlier, and here comes the blood. So just keep going. Just keep going, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do all 3 of these wounds here real quick. So let's start with the brachial one. We're bleeding here. It's squirting. There we go. So I'm just going to do this tourniquet application here quickly. And get it properly. Just like a human, that wound is going to stop bleeding even though there's pressure coming to that site still. Perfect. Now, let's do the inguinal, which shows really well for wound packing. So I'm just going to start packing this gauze in here. And obviously everybody has their own type of right way to pack a wound. But I just want to get in here to show for the demonstration's sake. I can probably put this entire roll of gauze in here. And maybe even another one if need be. So you're still going there, Colette?
Absolutely.
But what I'm going to do here is get the SAM tourniquet on here. That's junctional tourniquet. Make sure they have it on the right spot for the artery. Keep going, just keep pushing. Get that down. And
very good.
I believe we have stopped that bleed as well, if I had it placed correctly. Let's see. You're pushing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no blood coming out. So all you have left now is the femoral artery. And just like a wound, we can start packing this up and tight against the bone, against the vessel. What we need to do. Once again, we'll get this tourniquet. It's a different type. Keep going with the keep pumping. So I want to make sure that I'm showing that correctly. That it is stopping that. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So you're still pumping?
Yes.
I don't have that. I don't have it applied correctly, so. And like this is a good trainer to use for tourniquet application because really you can't do this to a live person. You do some extensive nerve damage and hurt them pretty bad. So I got this tight now. One more click on there and we'll see. All right. Okay, go ahead and stop.
Okay. This is really good.
Okay. Done good. All right. You can also do your subclavian wound the same way. You need help with this junctional tourniquet though, and there's an additional piece that goes up and around. You can also pack this wound as well. Okay, so
tell us about the cleaning.
A little bit about the cleaning, and then we can wrap it up. So first off, with the foot pump, if you have excess blood like we're going to have left in the pump, dump it out and fill it with water. hook it back up to your wounds and all your lines with just your water, and just continuously pump it and run it through the suit, run it through the lines, until it's nothing but clear water coming out again. You don't want any sort of fake blood residue inside your lines, inside the pump. You really want to make sure that there's nothing but water coming out before you move on. Make sure everything's cleaned, clear. And after that, what you're going to want to do is you can just remove the suit. And I've done this before, even from trade shows in a hotel bathtub. Just use some water and soap, water and gentle soap, and your blood will come out of here. Your stains will come out. You might see a little bit left over, but from use over time and time again. But for the most part, this cleans up very nicely. The same with the neoprene suit underneath. Just get it wet, wash it up, and really just hang it up to dry after that. Hang it up to dry, or get in front of a fan, let it sit out. You do not want any sort of mold, mildew, anything like that building up on the suit. Once that is dried again, you can set it up and be ready to go for your next training session. So I hope this was informative for you. Please reach out to your sales representative or our customer service team here, or myself, Joe Asplin, at NASCO Healthcare, and we'd be more than happy to help you with whatever you need.
We'd like to thank you for considering doing business with NASCO Healthcare, and we hope we'll continue to provide you with the best product in the market. Hopefully we can help you save more life, and hopefully we'll be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.